Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss that Google has opened API access to their Gemini Pro model and you can use it for testing for absolutely free. Gemini model comes in three different sizes: Gemini Ultra, Gemini Pro and Gemini Nano. Gemini Pro is the second best model from Google and you can use Gemini Pro model into your applications using API. Before we discuss how we can use Gemini Pro model in our projects, let's look at the pricing. Here you can see the pricing. So now you can see it's free for everyone until you make 60 queries per minute. But if you are making more than 60 queries per minute, then you can go with the pay as you go package, but it's not available currently and it will be coming soon at Google AI Studio. For currently you can use it for free until you are making 60 queries per minute. And price for the input is free, price for the output is free, but there is a one catch: the Google will use your input text as well as the output which is generated by the model to improve their product. And you can get your API key in Google AI Studio. So if you just simply click over here, now this where Google Maker Suite will be open and you can get your API key from here. You can create your account. If you have not created your account, you can just sign up with your Google account and you can just click on get API key. And if you just create API key in new project from here, so this might take few seconds and you can see this is your API key. You can simply copy this. So let me show you how we can run Gemini Pro model in the Google Colab. So let's test the Gemini Pro model in Google Colab. So here is the Google Colab notebook that I have prepared for this video. You can simply click over here in secrets tab and you can add the new secret key. And you can add the new secret key, so you can simply add the API key in the value tab that you have copied when you are just creating a new API key. Okay, so I will just paste that API key over here in the value tab. Now I will just add the API key. So now you can see I have added my API key and here I will just write the name. So whatever name you write in the name tab, please remember that name because this will be your environment variable name. So I will just write the name Gemini Pro key. Okay, and you can simply provide it notebook access and you can simply hide this API key from here by clicking on this tab. And if you want to just delete this, you can delete this as well. And I will simply provide it notebook access, like I will be able to use this inside this Google Colab notebook. So now I will just install all the required libraries. So first of all, I will install the Google Generative AI package. Now I will just import all the required libraries that we will be using in this video. So I am just importing Generative AI from Google.Generative AI. Then if you want to securely store your API key and use in this Google Colab notebook, we will require import data, we will require user data library, and simply if you want to just display the generative text from the model in the form of markdown, so we can import the markdown library and display library. Basically, import markdown and display library are used to display the text that is generated from our Gemini Pro model in a proper format. So here you can set up our API key. Okay, I have already told you how you can get your API key, but here I have added the link as well. So this will redirect you to the API key site and you can simply get your API key from here. As I have already told you how you can get your API key, and as you know that in the secret tab, here I just added my API key and here I have just written the name Gemini Pro key. So this will be the name, or this will be the environment name of the variable. So I will just add the same name over here, Gemini Pro key and user data dot get. Okay, so this will be our Google API key and I'm just setting the environment. Okay, now we are ready to call the Gemini API. So first let's see what different models are available under the Gemini API. So currently, as I told you at the start, that Gemini Pro model is available while Gemini Ultra Ultra model, it will be available in early 2024. So if you just run this cell, so this will show you the different models that are available under the Gemini API. So currently Gemini Pro model is available and Gemini Pro Vision model is available. We will be using both of this model in this Google Colab notebook. So in first we will see how we can generate text in the output from the text input. So the user will pass some text in the input and in the output we have some text generated by model. Okay, so for text only prompt you can use the generative pro model. So if we have our input, if our input is only in the form of text, then we can use Gemini Pro model. If our input is in the form of text as well as in the form of image as well, or you can say that if we are using image and text both in our input, then we can use Gemini Pro Vision model. But if we are using only text in our input, then we can use simply Gemini Pro model. But if we have in image and text code in the input, then we can use Gemini Pro Vision model. So I only have text in the input, so I will use Gemini Pro model, and here I'm just using the generate content method and I'm just passing the input to my Gemini Pro model. Now you can see that it take around the following time that it has taken to generate that response. So let's see what the response our model has generated. Now you can see the answer is generated by the model, but it's not in the proper format. Like we need to bring it in the proper format, we need to add markdowns as well. I have just created a function to dash markdown so that we can add markdown. Now you can see that our answer is in the form of proper markdown. So this is the answer and we have just formatted this answer into this using this function, and now it's in the proper markdown. So these are all the mark headings which are present in the form of markdowns. So in some cases the API will fail to return the result. So you can just use this prompt dash feedback method to see why the API has failed to return any result, or if you will see if it has blocked your result due to safety concerns, or if it have blocked your prompt due to safety concern. So you can simply write response.prompt dash feedback method. Currently you can see we are able to generate the response, but if in any case API fail to research the result, you can simply write prompt dash feedback to see why the API failed to return answer or fail to return the result. So there are several reasons, like if you have passed an input which is in the form of hate speech or dangerous content, then it will not return a response. Okay, so Gemini can return multiple responses for a single prompt. Like you can see over here, we have passed a single prompt and we have only one round response which is over here, but Gemini model can also return multiple responses for a single prompt, and you can review those responses by writing response.candidates. It will show you all the responses that are generated by the Gemini model. So now you can see here we have all the responses that are generated by the Gemini model in response to our prompt. So now usually we see that when we pass the input prompt and we have the answer, but if by default the model returns a response after completed the entire generation process, you can stream the response as it is being generated. So we can stream the response as well, like it will be generated step by step. Like we can stream the response process, like we should not wait for the response to be completely generated, and we can streamline all this process. And you can see and you can use this by setting stream is equal to true. Okay, so you can also stream the response as it is being generated, and the model will return the chunks of the response as soon as they are generated. Okay, now you can see here we have the response and we are just passing the same input prompt, and here we have the response. So now we have seen that how we can pass that text as input and our model will generate output in the form of text as well. Now in our input prompt we will pass text as well as the image as our input. So in our input prompt we passing the image as well as the text as the input. Okay, so first of all we will only pass the image as our input and our model will generate a response in the form of text. So here we have the input image. So you can, if you just click on this link, you can see that this is our input image which we are using. So we are just assigning this the name image.jpg, and you can see the image will appear over here. It will be downloaded in the Google Colab notebook, and you can simply display that image in your Google Colab notebook as well using the display library which we have imported at the start. Now you can see this is the image. So if I just pass this image to the Gemini Pro Vision model, so if we have the input in the form of image, or if we have the input in the form of image and text, then we will using Gemini Pro Vision model. So I will just pass this image as an input to the Gemini Pro Vision model. So it has given a response from here. So in our input we will providing the image as well as our text as the input. So I will just write a short engaging blog post based on this picture. Like this picture, it should include a description of the meal in the photo and talk about my journey meal preparing. And here we have the image, this is the text as input, and here this image is being passed as the input over here as well. And we have set stream is equal to true. Here we have the response, meal preparing can be a great way to save time and money, and it can help you to eat healthier. Here you can see we have the complete response. So with Gemini model we can represent text into the form of vectors, as well as with embedding model we can convert text into vectors. So vectors are basically floating point numbers. So embedding is a technique used to represent information as a list of floating point numbers. With Gemini you can represent text, words, sentences, blocks of text into vectors. So now you can see that we can use embed dash content method to generate embedding. So the method handles embeddings for the following tasks. So you can see the task detail here, and the description is provided here as well. So I will just use embed dash content method, and here in the content I will just pass a text. So I just want to convert this text into vectors using Gemini. So here you can see we are using this embedding model provided by Gemini, and we want to just convert this text into vectors, are floating point numbers. And we have a task type as retrieval document, and you can see the details over here. So if I just run this text, this will convert the text into vectors. Now you can see here we have passed only a single line of text, but if we want to pass a text or batches of text in the form of batches of strings, okay, so we can just pass it over here. Like you can see we have different multiple sentences here. So we want to pass this all this text to our embedding model, and we want to convert this text into floating point numbers. Are using embedding we want to convert this text into vectors. Okay, now you can see that using embedding model provided by Gemini we are able to convert this text into vectors of our floating point number, and you can see the response over here. So in this video I have provided an overview of how you can use Gemini Pro model, and I hope you all learned something in this video. Thank you for watching. See you all in the next video.